Hello everyone, it's Saturday. It's Nick. Same day. I don't think I'm gonna record a journal tonight. I just kind of had a little epiphany. Which, guys, this might be like one of the final epiphanies because, like, if I solve this, then everything falls into place, but it's just discipline. It's just discipline. But anyways, so what's this epiphany? So context, today's Saturday. I got some stuff done. But there's so much I could have done more. I basically just sat in bed for like 3 hours. Horrible. And I did some vices, doom scrolling, other that I don't want to mention. You could probably guess by your knowledge. But anyways, yeah, so I had this epiphany and it's just like, how do I explain this? It's literally just, I almost engineered my environment to be against me. For example, right? This bed is like right next to my work desk right here. So you can imagine, it's probably really fucking easy to escape the pain by sitting up from my chair, clicking Windows plus L, which is locking my screen, and then just sitting in fucking bed and getting on my phone and on Safari and on the social media and stuff. That's one way. Another way is that, what's another good way? Is that to get food, I could just open my door, go down the hallway, and there's a bunch of unhealthy food that I didn't buy, to be honest with you. It's just my parents, but you can still see that this is a cause and effect relationship. And there's a lot more that I could do to make my environment better, and that I'm just not doing it because I'm not placing enough value on it. But today I just had this epiphany of like, Nick, like, honestly, I would say this, actually, I would just boil it down. My personal biggest bottleneck is discipline. Because the mindset's important and stuff, but I realize it right now. A big reason why my mindset and clarity and all this shit is bad is because I'm not even being consistent and I'm doing things that harm me, okay? And I'll just brutally admit, I have a few disgusting vices that I do. I overeat. I'm pretty distracted on my phone sometimes, occasionally. And there's one I really don't want to mention, but you could definitely guess. It's probably the most embarrassing one in my opinion. But I don't do drugs or anything like that. But those things definitely don't fucking help when you're trying to think clear and work hard and all that stuff. And so I had this epiphany. I'm just like, it's like, Nick, you can do all the work you want. You could watch all the mindset videos. You could do everything. But if you can't even do something as simple as like, because here's like the Sam Ovens, right? If you don't know, search up Sam Ovens. He's a smart guy. But it makes so much sense. Like what Sam Ovens says is garbage in, garbage out. And like, for example, today I had some sugar during lunch, not too much, but recently I just had a fucking banana in the middle of the day. Impulse, bad. And again, I have a few bad vices that are basically just poison, bro. Even when I look on YouTube and I'm looking at shorts and I'm just scrolling, like that's literally poison. And so how the hell can I expect to produce good work and be like consistent and like making this ultra progress that I'm looking for when I'm doing that shit? And another thing is my environment, obviously. I have a room with a drum pad, not related to work. I have a bed. There's this bland ass paint. And my work environment is rather uncomfortable. This chair, don't get me wrong, it's soft. I'm not sitting on a rock. I'm pretty grateful for what I have. But again, it's just my environment. And it's weird because Kai gave me different advice. He never said I didn't take a play, but he was basically telling me that, no, you can't blame your environment, you know? You have to like fucking take responsibility and realize that if you can't change your environment, then you have to forget about it. And he's right on that regard. But the truth is I can, bro. I could literally sell my PC for a laptop, go to the library, change my environment. I could definitely move out very soon, change my environment. I could definitely start working at coffee shops, change my environment. I don't have to be in this fucking room, bro. It's all my responsibility. And so I had this epiphany. I'm just like, it's just like, Nick, damn. this really is the missing puzzle piece, bro. Because I know a lot about mindset shit. I know exactly what I need to do. I made my chain of action. I'm like, this business is so fucking simple. Like, really, the missing piece is, I'm gonna load up my tracker right now. You're gonna see exactly what I'm talking about, okay? But essentially, like, I'm just not, like, how can you do something consistently and work hard and like make real progress and ultimately like fundamentally change your reality if you're doing the same bullshit, you know? Like, it's just this huge, obvious thing staring me in the face. And I'm so grateful that on this Saturday afternoon, I decided to do some stupid shit at like around 2 p.m. And then I felt horrible afterwards. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm in this situation again. And then I saw this video, very funny. It was like 40 minutes long, but it was how to escape the Matrix. And it was actually legit information, but he just used that title. And essentially his version of the Matrix is like, you have distraction freedom, time, money, location, right? And purpose as well. Like, that's objectively, like, if you can do those 5 things, you're amazing, right? And you generally love life. If you have a purpose, you have time freedom, financial, and location freedom, and you're not distracted. And I'm so thankful that he put distraction freedom first, because I'm like, I had that epiphany from that YouTube video. Because honestly, bro, people talk it all the time about distractions and all that stuff, but I didn't realize from this perspective that, like, me being distracted over things I don't want to, I'm just gonna admit it, but fucking adult content, the most embarrassing thing in my opinion to even engage in at all, even though I do it, and I really don't want to. I'm pretty much a slave. But again, it's my full responsibility to not do that and make the decisions and go through the pain. But he put it in this perspective of like, see, I'm brain fogged right now. I can't think. He put it in this perspective where it's like, if you're doing vices, and if ultimately you're just distracted of anything that does not support your goal, then you are literally a slave. Like, when you're giving your attention to other things that don't matter in your life. And that's just as bad as you know, like, working a job you don't want to do, or fucking all this stuff that gets villainized on the internet that's popular, like the 9 to 5 and all this stuff. But the funny thing, the ironic thing, is that no one talks about distraction. They see it as this, you know, they see distraction as bad, obviously, and they see it as like this thing that doesn't help them. But they don't see it as in like, bro, you are literally a fucking slave to your dopamine. And he I don't know his name, honestly. It was a very nice video though. This guy just kind of articulated perfectly, in my opinion. So one of the things was like, you know, you being a slave to your distractions. My shirt's over pulled, so that's why I'm pulling it back, so it doesn't look fucking weird, even though it's drooping. He articulated perfectly. So first was that point where it was like, you know, you're like a slave to your distractions. Another thing was just like you frying your nervous system. So like, it's literally just all your nervous system. And I could feel it. Like, after I do that shit, I have a fucking headache. I feel fucking horrible. And there's this thing called frequencies, which I finally understood today. It's not going to make any fucking sense to people who don't know what I'm talking about. But it puts you at a lower frequency. Essentially, a lower frequency of energy. Which, if you're wondering, it's not this woo-woo thing. There's a list of like emotions / thoughts / moods. For example, one would be shame. Shame's like the very bottom, and enlightenment is the very top. And in the middle, there could be anger, and there could be reason. Reason's pretty high, and then there's like guilt and shame and all this shit, right? These are all like different emotions. They put you different frequencies, and also addictions, and not even addictions, just distractions, they put you in lower frequencies as well. So it's like, this guy like put it's actually like everything's starting to make sense now from what Charlie Morgan was teaching me and Sam Ovens and this random guy on YouTube. Like, don't get me wrong, most of the videos are bullshit. Like, what they'll do is they'll explain how it works, and then they won't tell you anything on how to do it. But luckily, I've gotten so good at turning a theory into an action where I can do that. If I didn't, then I would just look at that YouTube video and just move on, because I wouldn't know what to do. This guy gave me no action items, but it's fine, honestly. Like, the important thing is that I'm aware. I know what to do now. All I need to do is set goals for my environment, For example, getting out this room. Another example, quit XYZ, doom scrolling, overeating, all that shit. And those are the endpoints, right? Which, don't get me wrong, I've had those endpoints for so long. The problem is I haven't broke it down. And so now I know to break it down. For example, like week 1, I'm going to do 1 less of this. Okay, week 2, I'm going to do 2 less. Week 3, like it's just like small. I think the problem is that most people know that these things are bad. And they just try to give it a big go. For example, right? Let's say doom scrolling. Okay, so what do people do? They're doom scrolling like normal, right? Their normal lives, and then they realize they're doom scrolling, that it's bad. And then what they do is they fucking delete Instagram, and they just try to go as long as possible without doom scrolling. 3 days later, they're back on Instagram, right? And they just continue that cycle, and they just feel like, and every time, the thing is, every time they fail, every time they tell themselves they're not going to download Instagram again, and they do it, it reinforces the belief that you're a failure. It reinforces the fact that you can't trust your own promises. It's just a bad feedback loop. It's horrible. And the reason people do that, and this is for me, obviously, because look, I've had these vices for long, and they're still here, and I knew they were bad the whole time. It's taking incremental steps and being patient, and also putting in effort. But what I've also learned, this caveat, there's a big belief between both of these points, but from my point of view, I do believe that unless like you're a crazy person, which I wouldn't consider myself to be, and I mean crazy in a good way, by the way, in terms of like, you can like really control yourself, you know, truthfully. I don't really think we have much willpower, to be honest with you. And if you think about it, even back then, the reason why people were so disciplined and everything, there wasn't as much distractions. And this is my personal opinion. I could be completely wrong. I don't have too much information on this just because I don't think it's useful in terms of growing my business. Even though it is, it's just, you know, I haven't been searching on YouTube all this shit for like hours, you know? I just haven't, for whatever reason. But they've had different lives. They've had a way better reason to actually improve themselves than now. Like now we have all this abundance. Like I'm in this air-conditioned room with a bed and hobbies and like internet and distractions that like theoretically, unless I got kicked out, which obviously would happen, I could live here forever. Just very fucking depressed, you know? Back then, you couldn't do that. You had to like actually like fucking, you had to do something or else you're gonna starve, bro. So there's also that. When shit hits the fan, like you'll figure out anyway. I believe my friend Surya, just a drummer, not an entrepreneur. He was talking to someone in an audition clinic. He had him take off his glasses, and he was like, "You got like the lesson he was trying to teach him is that you'll always find a way." And that's what I think is like if I was to get kicked out at this moment, I'd probably stop. But I don't really want to make that. I don't want to artificially make that. I already tried doing that already by blocking Owen, and it just doesn't help. Because at the end of the day, if there's an option to escape, like this bed, this computer screen, my phone, social media, you're just gonna do it. Unless like you truthfully have like unless you're truthfully your back is against the wall, you know. So yeah, my brain's fried, bro. I can't think straight. This is horrible. This is very painful. I'm talking about right now, by the way. But anyways, I had this epiphany, bro. I'm just like, I don't know how to articulate this, but like one thing is that I need to change my fucking environment. This is horrible. I'm like not like literally having this bed near me and having all these options to do stupid shit near me at like most of my day. I'm basically like designing my life to be distracted than like doing meaningful work. And don't get me wrong, like I have a great work ethic. I know about mindset and I do it a lot. Like every single day I progress a ton. But my bottleneck to not just like literally going like I'm at like this trajectory, right? I'm just like making progress, little per day. I'm improving. My weight was actually getting really low, and now it's starting to go back up because of this, by the way. But I'm noticing it. I'm not going to let it happen. I'm going to actually make the standard a bit higher now. But you get the point. I'm on this trajectory where I am improving a lot, but not like I have so much potential. Like I could literally go from here to like here, bro. I'm drawing a line, by the way. I can go from here to here. And my biggest bottleneck to not doing that is just my discipline. And I have my trackers open. I'm finally gonna get to the numbers here. But like, for example, like my goal is to eat 1,800 calories a day, right? And I'll tell you this: if I eat below 2,000, if I eat below 2,000 calories, that's a great day for me at the moment. That's my standard. Whether it's good or not or impressive, you can decide. But that's my standard. And to be fair with you, if I do that and I do my journals and walking and all that shit, I will lose a lot of weight. It's happened so much. Like I'll show you right now. I did that consistently. Like, okay, let me give you an example, right? These are oscillations, by the way. If you're aware of Charlie Morgan, you know what that is. It's basically an oscillation between are you doing the things you need to, and then are you not doing the things you need to, and it's all governed by pain. So like when you're in a state of pain, you're gonna work harder, and then when you get comfortable, you're gonna not work, and then eventually you're gonna feel proud because you worked, and then you just stop working, you go all the way back down, and it's like this cycle of going up and down, right? So on the 11th, right now is the 26th of July. On the 11th, let me read out the weeks. So on the 11th, right? Actually, no, let's do the 10th. Bro, on the 10th, I was 218.8 pounds, right? That's like some of the heaviest I've ever been in my life, right? Horrible. By the way, my heaviest in my life was 220. I looked horrible. I don't want to go there. I want to get down to like 180. If I can get to 180, I look good. Decent. Anyways, let's read this out because I track everything. So this is great. This is the benefits of tracking your life. On the 10th, 218.8. And I'll read the calories. So on the 10th, I ate 2,300 calories. So really bad day. The next day, bam, pain went up. I didn't want to fucking do this anymore. So I actually, I actually lost weight on 2,300. So you can see, like, if I eat below 2,000, I'm going to lose a lot of weight, okay? Okay, 218 first day, 218.5 second day. So I lost 0.3 pounds. And at the 11th, I ate 1,800 calories. The next day, I ate 1,800. I'm guessing on the 13th, I ate a lot because, I didn't log it. So I think I was embarrassed. So 1,800, right? I got all the way down to 215 in like 2 days. I didn't log that day. I think I ate a bit more. And you can see here, I do gain weight the next day. So I definitely did. I went back up to 216 and then 2,500 calories. Horrible. And then from here, I was actually staying pretty consistent. I was at 215.5 and I ate 1,950. The next day, 2,200. The next day, 2,100. And I went all the way down to 214. By now, we're at the 18th of July. This was a strike weekend, I believe. Yes, it was. So I didn't log anything that weekend because it was just a bad week as well. Because strike was pretty new, so it caught me off guard. Anyways, though, we get down to really good stuff. So next Monday, the 21st, I was at 215.1. I ate 2,100. The next day, I ate 1,800, and the next day, I ate 2,300. And my weight went from 215 to 212.8, okay? So at this point, I was feeling amazing. I was like actually seeing my stomach get smaller, and I was feeling really good. Guess what I did, guys? Next day, I ate 3,400 calories. By the way, I didn't log that. Every time I log numbers, I like to be very pessimistic. So this particular day, they had like a pizza party, right? And I went to a networking event. I didn't eat there. By that time, I had like 700 calories left in the day. I remember this like very exactly because I'm not happy about it. I had like 700 calories left. I didn't eat anything. I was ready to like eat dinner and go to sleep. I got back late. What did I do? I literally like feasted, bro. I had a whole plate of pasta, and then I had like some bread dough with a fuck ton of like meat and cheese because they have cold cuts there. I just gorged. So I kind of like did the math in my head because I can kind of calculate. And being pessimistic, I ate like 3,400 calories that day. So that's a lot. And this number, it goes up pretty high. It's been right now it's by the way, right now it's Saturday. And this day that I ate a lot was I believe it was Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. Okay. Last Thursday. And then yeah, so normally when I eat a lot, I'll retain a lot more water. I'll be way heavier than I should, so then I'll regulate back down. But anyways, I ate a lot this day. The next day, I went all the way up to 216.7. So obviously in inflation, like, by the way, to gain 4 pounds, truthfully, you have to eat like 12,000 calories at a surplus. So if your maintenance is like 2,000, you have to eat like 14,000 calories, which I definitely did not do that. I would say like a 2,000 calorie surplus over those 2 days, but yeah, so I went all the way back to 216.7, and then I caught myself, and so yesterday I ate 2,100 calories, and yeah, today I'm at 215.1. Okay, let me actually just log that real quick. And yeah, so you can see how that works, like up and down, right? And it's very natural. And as soon as you get comfortable, you'll go back down. So the moment I decide that 212 is heavy and I want to be way lower than 212, then I'm gonna actually go there. If I decide that 212 is good, then I'll go back down, or back up, sorry, in terms of weight. But you can see, like, yes, I can work hard, I have mindset, and I can make progress, right? But my bottleneck is fucking discipline. And I don't think we have a ton of willpower, so this is what I was getting at, is that changing my environment is gonna help. Making the actions to like actually achieve this also, like just more clarity essentially. Because like I'm trying to quit doom scrolling and adult content, fucking embarrassing, and overeating, not overhead. All these things that are like ruining my life, right? I'm trying to like improve them, but I don't have any action plan. Eating I kind of do, but like I don't really like, I just make sure I eat like less, right? It's not enough. Like I need to make like a week 1, what do I want to do? Week 2, all this stuff. And people don't really describe that, which is why if anyone tries, like, do that, please. Don't just define what you can't do and then try not to do it. Like, if you're trying to quit doom scrolling or whatever, don't just like be like, okay, I'm going to delete Instagram, I'm never going to doom scroll again. That shit does not work. And if it does work, then you have the best willpower I've ever seen, and congratulations to you. Me, I typically don't have a lot of willpower. The thing I do have is work ethic. And so if I just put myself in the right environment, I'm going to work a shit ton and get a lot of stuff done. But in terms of like resisting impulses and like really, because let's just say that all my vices I have been a thing for like fucking years, bro. Like I would say honestly, at this point, all my vices are 5 years plus, okay? So these temptations are super strong. They're almost like habit, almost like a part of me. It's fucking horrible. And if you're in my situation, you know exactly what it's like. And yeah, man, like the gateway to me getting to my goal, looking better, not being ashamed of myself, actually living a decent life is gonna be breaking those chains. But anyway, like the summary is that I'm just trying to document this epiphany because this is amazing. I just know that I need to make my environment better, like actually take it seriously. And that includes everything. So like, where am I working? What do I do? Where's everything that's bad located? Is it away from me, close to me? It's just, the best way to say it is making the hard actions easy. Literally just that. Because it's possible, man. There's so much examples. People, like, just look up at anyone online and try to find someone who moved out of their house and see what they say when they moved out. Like, your environment changes and you just have to become a different person. Like, I've had my friend Owen tell me it. The guy makes like, I don't know how much he makes right now, but he's made more than 30,000 per month. So he's successful and he's still in pain. He's still working, bro. So, and that's what he said as well. So I'm just connecting the dots, and I don't have to feel this frustration anymore of like, ah, man, why am I like not progressing? It's just so obvious now. It's so obvious. Like what Sam Ovens said, garbage in, garbage out. If you keep doing these vices, then you're going to keep putting garbage in and you're going to keep producing garbage. And that's why you can't do this line, you're doing this line, right? So that's my epiphany. I'll just make this quick note just because I haven't mentioned it in a long time. I have done definitely more than 100 journals right now. I think I'm actually about to hit 200 journals. I have no idea how many journals I did, to be honest with you. I just know I've been doing journals since like last May, which is a long time. Minus like a couple months of like not doing journals. So definitely probably over 200 journals. And yeah, man, I'm going to start posting them, I think. I don't know. What I do know is that by the time I'm like where I want to be, and people like I get to a point where I'm proud to present myself, I will post all of these. And these are just a mission to show people that, bro, anyone who looks fucking successful was not before. They had to go through the pain. A lot of them were either forced into the pain or they had to do it themselves. Like it's just that. It's just that. Like no one was born fucking chiseled and all that shit. Some people were born skinny, which I'd rather be skinny than fat, to be honest with you. I was born with the fat problem. Some people are born with the skinny problem. There's that, but like still, man, like people don't like to show this side of themselves. This is my mission. Is like I want to get to somewhere where people are like, holy fuck, this guy's amazing, right? And then I just drop all these journals, and they're like, holy fuck, bro, he had to actually go from like basically a loser to all the way at the top. So, all right, see you guys later. Look, today, I'm actually gonna start doing that. I'm gonna make just small action items I could do every single day. Nothing huge. No quitting, no like cold turkey, it just doesn't fucking work. It just does not work. You gotta take small actions. And the best part is if you take small actions, the only hard part is consistency. But like if they're small, then you could do it every day. All you gotta do is try a little bit, remember why you're doing it. But it's not gonna be as bad as like trying to just quit or like not do something completely. But yeah, that's it. This video is getting really fucking long, so. All right, I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna put in some work. It's the weekend, so I'm gonna set myself up for next week. Bye.